When Pool B began here at Foro Sol Stadium on Sunday, the conventional wisdom had it that Mexico and Cuba would advance to San Diego. Well, they are. The only question now is who will be the first seed in the second round. Cuba's gotten this far with a power display and some flashy defense and one very clutch home run. Vinny Castilla's Mexican team, after being routed at Game 1 by the Australians, have already hit 9 home runs in 3 games, one more than the Cubans. Karim Garcia's had the best game of the tournament. 2 home runs, 4 hits, 4 runs scored, 4 RBIs, but that was last night. Tonight, it's Mexico and Cuba with bragging rights on the line and everybody out of the pool. Tonight's World Baseball Classic game is presented by IBM. And it's party time here in Mexico City, and nothing will dampen the enthusiasm of the fans except perhaps the weather. It's been raining on and off over the past couple of hours, although we expect to get the game in on time and into its completion. 64 degrees at the moment. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Jose Mota. So here they are. It is Cuba and it is Mexico. And for the winner, they go on. Both of them, in fact, go on to San Diego. Both of these teams also advance at the expense of Australia.
Shocking, huh? Well, the first thing that we saw for Australia play was not the team we saw the last couple of days. But, you know, what's important here is not how you got here, but the fact that you got here. Get to the big dance anyways. In the big leagues, you win your division, you win 100 games. Just get there. And for Mexico, how do they get it done? Really, by swinging the bats, getting better pitching, and I think also getting the jitters out early after the first ball game. And when you have somebody like Jorge Cantu playing so well, you know things are going right. And last night they continued. A long home run from Scott Hairston really sealed the deal for them. And a guy that really we're not counting on, did not even play the first game. Karim Garcia hit 2 gigantic home runs. And after that, they really got to settle down. Vinny got to relax, everybody celebrated, and it was up to Rodrigo Lopez to get the deal done with Adrian Gonzalez stepping on the bag.
So coming into the game tonight, Mexico has the highest team batting average of any team in the World Baseball Classic. More home runs and a higher on-base percentage than anybody else. It's not that the Cubans are slackers by any stretch.
You know, top to bottom, Charlie, the deepest team, the most rounded team is the Cubans because they showed up early with the home runs and also by defeating a team like South Africa, getting to Australia, who has a tough time beating them, and Frederic Cepeda swinging the bat the way that we know Frederic Cepeda can do it. On both sides of the plate, he is a threat and wasted no time in showing why he is the guy they go to internationally for so many years, and they know that once things settle down, like in that last ball game, they can do some damage from the bench when El Gordo comes through. The fat boy goes deep, changes the momentum of the ball game, changes the momentum of the whole tournament here in Mexico, and the great pitch by Jimenez at the end, get the last out. They know they got some good things ahead of them.
And that brings us to tonight and the pitching matchups. For Mexico, a 32-year-old veteran by the name of Pablo Ortega, and for Cuba, a 33-year-old veteran by the name of Ciro Lasaya.
Ciro Lasaya is a guy that's cool under pressure. Maybe he's not their #1 guy. Maybe he wouldn't even be pitching right now if it was a bigger game. But for Pablo Ortega is a guy that I like the fact that he now has a routine. He came in relief the other day, was not very sharp, but a well-seasoned guy when it comes to playing for the Mexicans in front of the Mexicans.
A 14-year veteran of the Mexican League, Pablo Ortega. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the lineups in the first pitch. It's Cuba and Mexico from Foro Sol Stadium. Just a few moments ago, the customary handshake between the two teams as they get ready for battle tonight. The winner, of course, will be the first seed as they go to San Diego, awaiting Japan and Korea. So be careful of what they win for, as Japan, of course, a world power, and They beat Cuba in 2006 in the World Baseball Classic final, and they lost to Korea in the Olympics in 2008. And here's a look at the Mexican lineup. Kareem Garcia, has anybody ever had a better day than Kareem last night? With 4 hits and 4 at-bats, 4 runs scored, 4 RBIs, and a couple of home runs. So he's in the heart of the lineup. Gonzalez and Cantu and Garcia, very powerful fellas, and certainly in this bandbox of a ballpark, they love to play here. Some defensive alterations for the Cubans tonight. Michel Enriquez, who had been the designated hitter the first 2 games, is at third base, and that allows Uriel Gurriel, who had been at third base, to move to his more natural position at second base. The outfield remains the same. Friedrich Cepeda, Eugenio Cespedes, and Alfredo Despain in right, and a new catcher behind the plate, Jose Rolando Manayo.
Yeah, Mourinho is a guy that they thought perhaps was going to take a lot of at-bats away from Ariel Pestano early in the tournament, but Pestano showed up. They needed him, but now it's a time in which you can actually almost relax a little bit, as it'll be Mourinho in charge of Cito Licea.
And the 33-year-old right-hander, who his one-loss record, as you saw, not terribly impressive, but an ERA of under 4 this past year. He has 39 career shutouts. So he is a veteran and a veteran of international play. And his first pitch to Freddie Sandoval is a strike, gets 0-1. Sandoval and Robles and Adrian Gonzalez will hit for the Mexicans in the top half of the first inning. They're going to take that ball out of play. It's still raining a little bit. We had some fairly heavy showers about an hour or 2 before the game, and the tarp was on until about a half hour ago. The worst of the rain, we're told, is behind us. And that, of course, is good news. Immediately after the games tonight, teams will go back to their respective hotels and pack and leave for San Diego first thing tomorrow morning. Jose and I will rejoin you on Sunday for a doubleheader from Petco Park. Sandoval begins the game with a clean single into right field. Freddie Sandoval is aboard. Oscar Robles will make his way to the batter's box. This is one of those games, Jose, that it really doesn't matter who wins or who loses. I guess there's the competitive bragging rights involved, but beyond that, these 2 teams know they've got a couple of very tough hombres awaiting them in San Diego, in Japan, and Korea. Both of them advanced easily in that bracket over there.
It's only going to get tougher for them, but they understand. And Vélez told me today, winning today matters a lot. It is important for his team, he says, to get to San Diego unbeaten.
A ball upstairs and outside, 1 ball, no strikes. It doesn't make it any better for them or worse for them. Psychologically, of course, it's nice. But at the end of the day, in terms of who they play and how they play, it's still going to be a double elimination tournament in the second round of the World Baseball Classic.
He just believes winning cures all.
Who doesn't? Adrian Gonzalez on deck. Sandoval, you know well from the Angels organization.
Sandoval is a solid hitter. We see now 3 for 6 overall during this tournament with a nice swing. And also, you see the Cubans now paying attention to Sandoval, who is not really a quick runner. This is all preparation for what's coming in San Diego.
Oscar Robles.
Because here's what they do, Charlie. They don't waste anything in practice or in a game like today to serve as preparation for something coming. That's where you see it happening here early.
The Cubans won their first 2 games, beating South Africa 8-1. Hit and run, stays out of the double play, so Robles gets the job done, and Sandoval goes to second. That's one thing about Oscar Robles. When he is asked to make contact, invariably he does.
Just a good all-around player.
Batting third, 23, first base, Adrian Gonzalez.
See Licea going home. Good job by Sandoval, looking in, finding the ball. The ball got to the second baseman very quickly. Let's not forget, it is artificial turf, and tonight is even faster because of the rain.
So we're going to see some hydroplaning on some of these ground balls, and especially on balls in the alley to the outfield wall. They're going to skip out there in a hurry. Adrian Gonzalez takes a ball. Gonzalez 5 for 12 in the World Baseball Classic. 4 of his 5 hits, extra bases, a couple of home runs, couple of doubles. And with a couple of walks, he's been on base half the time, a .500 on base percentage. Jorge Cantu on deck, Kareem Garcia to follow. We're just underway in the top half of the first, way outside. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
First pitch of the ballgame that Lisam made was a breaking ball. Message for the Mexicans. That is one pitch I'm trying to establish. I'll base everything off of that pitch to make my fastball better.
Licea is 33 years of age, 6'1" and 2 1/4. Gonzalez fouls it off his leg.
Now, surprisingly, also for Cuba, there's guys warming up in the bullpen. It's all part of the preparation, strategy. Let's be honest here, Charlie. Mystery of this ball club through the years.
Well, the one thing about the Cubans, they don't care a whole lot about baseball protocol. They will change the lineup at the very last instant, as they did the other night, and had Australia befuddled, and those of us in the booth and press box had no idea what was going on. Already he's got double barrel action in the bullpen. Eugenio Velez, the manager. Whack into the glove of the first baseman, Alexander Maeda, robbing Gonzalez of at least a double. And Sandoval lucky he's not doubled up at second.
Gonzalez continues to swing the bat well, but Maeda well located. He knows off-speed stuff. Pitcher, well, I have to be guarding the line a little bit more. And for Cuba overall, even though they've only played a couple of games, they have only made 1 error.
Mexico has made 3 through 3 games. Jorge Cantu steps into the batter's box, and he's had a fine series to this point. 5 of his 6 hits have been for extra bases. He's got a home run and 4 doubles. 5 runs batted in, 6 for 14 overall. Marlins third baseman takes Lowen outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
I wouldn't be shocked to see Cantu use an approach more of the left center field, right field line. But he's so good on waiting back and trusting his hands against right-handed pitchers.
Jorge Cantu came up with the devil rays, breaks his bat, and lost one into left center field. And the center fielder, Yoenis Cespedes, calls off Friedrich Cepeda. No runs and a hit for the Mexicans.
Jugar con mis amigos de Muni, pues se siente un poquito diferente, ¿verdad? Pero uno personalmente cuando ya juega con una camiseta de tu país, yo creo que son amigos, pero cuando uno representa a su país, yo creo que puedes proteger a tu país y proteger también a tus amigos que son de tu mismo país. Todos lo van a hacer igual, como Dominicana, Venezuela, Maryland, todo el mundo va a proteger a su propio país. Yo creo que no vamos a hacer lo mismo.
Al bar. Primero en el orden de la selección de Cuba, Luis Céspedes, Carniñero Cedrá.
Batting first, number 51, center field, Yoenis Cespedes.
With a steady drizzle falling, here's the Cuba lineup tonight. Cespedes, who hit 7th and 6th in the first 2 games, leads off tonight. Cepeda, the switch hitter in the heart of the lineup, followed by the home run hitting hero from the night before last, Peraza. And here we go, the first pitch of the ball game from Pablo Ortega. It's a strike, and it's 0-1. Yoenis Cespedes is 4 for 8 in the first 2 games. Plays an outstanding center field, and he drills one up the gap in right center field. I told you about that hydroplane, and boy, it sure did skip out there in a hurry. And Cespedes is on his way to third base, and he's going to make it. So Cespedes has 5 hits in the series, and now 4 of them for extra bases.
Big part of the field, great hands, inside out swing, as Charlie mentioned, the hydroplaning. And also, you got to remember, the outfielders are going to have a tougher time gripping the ball, getting it to the cutoff man, and there's some long throws to be made. And usually with a wet ball, those long throws could be deadly.
Did you see how he cut the bag at second base? There was no angle whatsoever. So now, already, Cuba in a position to take an early lead as Michel Enriquez steps into the batter's box, and he has just been hit by a pitch. So Pablo Ortega off to a terrible start.
Just got the unit. That was a great way of getting hit right there.
Batting third, number 24.
Take a look now at the defense. Playing behind Pablo Ortega, Cantu and Robles on the left side of the infield. Freddie Sandoval and Adrian Gonzalez on the right. Agustin Murillo getting his first start for the Mexicans. Scott Hairston in center field. Karim Garcia, the big hitting hero last night. Once again, Miguel Ojeda is behind the plate for the 32-year-old right-hander Pablo Ortega. Last season, he had an ERA of 3.05 for the Quintana Club, where he won 11-5. And a ground ball to second base. Mexico gladly changing a double play for a run. Pablo Ortega, 6 feet 2 inches, 190 pounds, a 14-year veteran. He's made 270 starts exclusively in the Mexican League. He's also had a lot of international experience. Pitched in the 2006 World Baseball Classic, 2007 Pan Am Games, among others. Well, the hero, before last, Cuba was 4 outs from losing to Australia. Until this fella, Yusbani Peraza, came in to pinch hit. Deposited a 2-run home run with 1 out in the top half of the 8th inning, turning a 4-3 Cuban deficit into a 5-4 win over the Aussies. Bobbled by Robles, still has plenty of time, and is dug out at the other end by Gonzalez. And there is the completion of the first inning. 1-0 Cuba. 40-year-old Lance Barksdale entering his 5th big league season. Born and bred in Mississippi, Edgar Estevizan is the first base umpire from Panama. Ted Barrett, the crew chief at second base, and Seung Hoon Moon from Korea is the third base umpire. So now it's Mexico's turn. We head to the top half of the second inning. Karim Garcia, Scott Hairston, and Jorge Vasquez will hit for Mexico. A leadoff triple by Yoenis Cespedes has given Cuba a 1-0 lead. He come around to score on a 4-6-3 double play. Garcia, as soon as this series is over, goes on to San Diego, of course, with the Mexican club, and that's done. Perhaps they advance to Los Angeles. Either way, when he's finished playing in the World Baseball Classic, is on to Korea for his 2nd season with the Giants. And the foul off to the left in that play.
Very happily gets on that plane and gets away from Mexican summer baseball, and he'll be making very close to major league minimum considered over in Korea. That's a very nice salary for a guy that's been around and perhaps did not come around in the big leagues as expected.
Came up with the Dodgers, went to the Diamondbacks. Perhaps baseball fans remember Garcia was traded from Arizona to the Tigers for Luis Gonzalez. course, Gonzo became a fixture in Arizona for so many years. As you see, it's raining out, and the pitcher, Lasea, needs to clean out his spikes.
Well, they brought him a bat. That's how they get it done over there in Cuba. It's a piece of wood, just a little bigger.
So we're playing through rain. The first we arrived here a week ago, and the weather has been absolutely sweltering. 80, 85 degrees by day and 50, 55 at night. And then the clouds began to gather this afternoon. Rained quite hard. Oh, I guess between 4 and 6 o'clock, and then the rain subsided. The worst of the rain, we're told, has already passed, but so we're going to be playing through some showers, and already it looks like it's subsiding again.
Surprisingly to me, the bullpens are not covered right now. Those mounds should be covered at the moment.
Here comes the 1-2 to Garcia. So I was talking to Garcia today about playing in Korea. His manager, by the way, is Jerry Royster. Baseball fans from the United States remember him. I said, so when does the season begin? He says, well, around March 28th. And I said, around March 28th? Well, if Korea goes to the finals of the World Baseball Classic, they're merely going to delay the beginning of the regular season in Korea until their stars get home.
Well, that's how important this is for them.
Big deal, absolutely.
I have no problems with that at all. I mean, the Cubans themselves stopped their national tournament. It's like stopping the big league season to do this, which I hope never happens, but that's what the Cubans pretty much did. February 8th, everything stopped. Get the national team together to work out and play exhibition games and go to the World Baseball Classic.
The Cuban season goes roughly from December through April. As Garcia takes high and away. This is a very nice at-bat for Kareem Garcia.
Can you tell he's seen the ball very well?
Cubans and the Mexicans head on to San Diego tomorrow and resume play in the World Baseball Classic on Sunday at Petco Park. Meanwhile, here's Garcia working the count full. This will be the 8th pitch of this at-bat.
And Licea continues to take more and more time on the mound, which I really don't understand.
Well, one of the things we've certainly discovered in the first 2 games that the Cubans have played here, they're very deliberate about everything. Here's a 3-2. Call strike 3. So Licea wins the battle, but not before he uses 8 pitches to do it for his first strikeout of the game.
Go back to bread and butter. Breaking ball. Had Garcia thinking fastball inside.
And a breaking ball up. Garcia sits, and that brings up Scott Hairston. Scott and his brother Jerry Hairston, their mom, born and raised in Mexico, Hermosillo, so they are eligible to play for the Mexican club. Jerry last night came out of the game swinging this on strike. The ball rolled to the wall, and he was hunched over at the plate. Just made it down to first base, beat the throw, and it looked as if he might have pulled something. As it turned out, he was badly dehydrated. He came out of the game and might be available tonight.
One of those many challenges, Charlie, we've seen in this altitude. It's dehydration. Pestano, and Pestano gestured to you the other day how tough it is even to hold the ball.
Catcher for Cuba. There's a Mexican club, certainly far more used to altitude than the Cubans and us.
But when I saw Hairston go down, I said, oh no, I saw something very similar happen to him in Anaheim a few years back, and it ended up being a fractured foot. And they've lost Durazo already, and they lost Alfredo Amezaga.
And Amezaga, it turned out to be a little more serious than they first thought. Here's a 3-0 to Hairston. A 4-pitch walk. You see a little bolt of lightning off in the distance. So a strikeout and a walk for Licea here in the first inning. Somewhere during the first game of the World Baseball Classic here in Mexico on Sunday night. Alfredo Amezaga hurt his knee, and he's not even sure how. And so as a precautionary thing, he decided to leave the club and return to the Marlins. Well, they discovered he had sprained the knee, could be out a month or more. And to this moment, he has no idea how he did it or when he did it.
We saw a very strange play with him in center field, losing the ball, charging in.
Nice backhanded play by Rolando Mourinho.
And what didn't help Amezaga, obviously, Charlie, was his hard turf, man. Very hard. Nice skills.
First time we've seen Mourinho behind the plate. The veteran. Ariel Pistano, who is a real chatterbox behind the plate. Do his talking tonight from the bench. Jorge Vasquez is the hitter, and Vasquez in the first inning of the first game after Australia took a 3-0 lead in the top of the first, designated hitter, a grand slam home run. Brought Mexico back from a 3-0 deficit, a 5-3 lead, but then Australia really would take off. In the meantime, already with 1 out in the second inning, double barrel action in the bullpen, and the pitching coach is going to come out and talk to his veteran right-hander.
As Rodriguez and Maya continue to warm up.
Well, one of the things, again, we've discovered as we've watched this World Baseball Classic tournament down here in Mexico City, the Cubans are in no hurry. They take their time. A lot of conversations between the catcher and the pitcher, and a pitching coach will come out frequently. Good sized lead for Hairston. Did not go unnoticed by Licea.
Very cultural. Oh, mañana. When are we going to get that done? When's the meeting? Ah, más tarde. Don't worry about it. Don't.
Yes, but we're playing tonight. We don't have to worry about mañana. Mañana we're flying to San Diego.
So are they. But it is. I mean, it really is part of the culture, the upbringing. The don't hurry into things, and you know, it goes back to many years ago. The shutting everything down at noon, businesses in Latin America, and going for the siesta.
Here's a 2-0. I don't mind the siesta. 3 balls and no strike. Augustine Murillo is on deck.
I don't see him lasting very long. I've seen a lot of the infielders just approach him and trying to pump him up, and he just does not have that fight in him right now.
Already upcoming the 18th pitch of the inning. And there's only 1 out. Retired the Mexicans on 11 pitches in the first, and remember the pitch count is very much a part of the World Baseball Classic. Starters in the first round can go no more than 70 pitches. In the second round, no more than 85 pitches, and in the finals, no more than 100 pitches. And you can't pitch until you've had 4 days of rest. On 3-1, there goes Hairston. The pitch is high, ball 4. So the Mexicans now have a rally thanks to the uncertainty of Ciro Licea.
Hey, Charlie, how many times have you heard this from a big league manager, which Vélez, the Cuban manager, shared with me today? He goes, Jose, if this is a game that takes us to San Diego or not, he's not starting. He's not my #1 choice. I just got to give him some work. And he is a leader in shutouts in Cuban baseball, not pitching like that right now.
And his day is prematurely done. So Licea had nothing tonight. A right-handed pitcher by the name of Luis Rodriguez is trotting in. And his first and second, one man out, and Agustin Murillo will be the hitter awaiting. Big festive crowd tonight. It's been raining on and off through the latter part of the afternoon on into the early evening here in Mexico City. 35-year-old Luis Rodriguez on in relief. The starter, Ciro Licea, walks two batters and gets the hook. Agustin Murillo, who came in as a pinch runner yesterday and then would get one at bat and walk, takes a strike. There's Vinny Castilla. Boy, he took a lot of heat as his team got pummeled by Australia on Sunday, 17-7. And the Aussie set a World Baseball Classic record of 22 base hits. But his team has bounced back, and he has been one of the most popular Mexican players in history. So meanwhile, Murillo, solid season in Monterrey this past year, is ahead 2 balls and no strikes. Cuba took a 1-0 lead in the first on a triple by their leadoff hitter Cespedes, and he'd come in to score on a double play. 2-0. Well, the bases are loaded. And the Mexicans are saying, fine, thank you, all charity happily accepted.
Not what we've been seeing from Cuban pitching for the first couple of games, and Rodriguez way out of whack. Very unconventional motion to the plate, true side armor.
Well, if you're going to get hit, that's the place.
There's some cushion there.
So Mexico with a golden opportunity to tie the score, perhaps take the lead. Rodriguez, 10 strikeouts in 9 innings last year in the Olympics. Gave up 4 runs, 3 earned in his time, and misses inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
And a guy like Rodriguez on the mound is a great challenge for his pitching coach. What do you go to? Release point, arm angle has to stay the same. Landing spot, to me, he's landing just too much towards the hitter right now. That's not allowing him to open up that front shoulder.
Well, once again, another meeting on the mound.
And the conditions on the mound because of the rain are not the best right now either.
More bullpen activity for the Cuban club. A right-hander by the name of Yuneski Maya. And again, this game is, reality is not a whole lot more than for bragging rights, as both teams have advanced to San Diego. And Ojeda, well, there's a 5-3 double play, and that's that. So Ojeda with a glorious opportunity to tie the score. Instead, he and the Mexicans come up empty.
1-0 Cuba, bottom of the second inning, and Cuba and their pitching defense solid all around. Nice play by Enriquez. Find the bag, step on it, and the one hopper well played by the first baseman Mayeta.
Well, he also knew the slow-running catcher Ojeda, but didn't have to rush anything. And at the receiving end, a nice play by Alexander Mayeta. Gurriel, leading off for the Cubans here in the second inning, has really struggled through the first 2 games. Well, we're almost 2 miles above sea level. 319 feet down the left field line, 3 1/4 down the right. Little wonder then that this week in 5 games here in the World Baseball Classic in Pool B, record 22 home runs have already been hit. 9 by the Mexicans, 8 by Cuba.
BP is quite a show. Any ball club that we've seen take batting practice has been impressive, especially Australia. If they're gone.
long flight home. Alfredo Espana had his 2 balls and no strikes. Espana 2 out of 6 with a home run this week. For that Cuba-Australia game night before last. Australia just 4 outs away from notching some nasty upset. Past Oscar Robles and into center field. Espana with a base hit.
And it's good for the hitters in this ballpark. It's that ball just zipped with that wet turf, and making it tougher, and actually handcuffing the shortstop Oscar Robles. But going back to pitching in this ballpark, he has the ball flies. Fernando Valenzuela, bench coach for Mexico, Teddy Higuera, the pitching coach, both told me it's not about pitching inside, it's not about elevating. Find a good breaking ball, get it done. We saw the Sens do it, and we saw Reynoso do it, showing guys in the bullpen, and Campillo. Outstanding.
Jorge Campillo was just terrific last night. This is Alexander Maeda, the first baseman. 1 for 6 in the World Baseball Classic. Orlando Año.
Yeah, but you watch his stance and the way he holds his hands, and it reminds you a lot of the Japanese and the Korean approach with the hands. And they have had some influences from Asia, from teams that come and practice with him, that play against, and coaches. Look at his hands.
There's a little crime dog in there too, Fred McGriff.
And he has those hands. Little Hideki Matsui, nice and loose.
Fouls it off.
For a big man, he really has done a nice job, Charlie, around the bag. Plays the base very well with his feet.
And caught a screaming line drive off the bat of Adrian Gonzalez in the first inning. That robbed Gonzalez of probably a double and certainly cost Mexico a run. So good hands and good feet. Cuba with the early lead. Espana, good speed, and he is extending his lead. And has popped up. Who's going to take charge? The catcher, Oliva. A long way from behind the plate to make that catch in fair territory.
We talked about how much Ojeda knows this ballpark. The lights are tough. I've talked to a couple of players that say you can lose it easily. You have the rain falling on you. If you know the lights, you know the stadium well, you take charge. Well done by Ojeda.
And that's one of the reasons why Ojeda is starting tonight as opposed to Rod Baraja.
We've only seen Baraja as the first ball game. It really became an issue of calling games, not so much offense. Vinny's got it.
Calling games, especially in this ballpark. This is Rolando Marinho, making his first start at the World Baseball Classic for the Cubans. And the veteran right-hander, 32-year-old Pablo Ortega. 14 years in the Mexican League. Glove hand stopped by Ojeda.
Charlie Ortega had the runner at first base, the spine going back as he was going towards the plate. There are some complaints before from the Cubans on Bach moves, so they're more than cautious by those moves that they saw against South Africa and by the comments by a certain personality back in Cuba.
The de facto general manager of Team Cuba is Fidel Castro.
Early comments about base running have everybody scared right now.
After their 8-1 thrashing of South Africa, they set a World Baseball Classic record with 6 home runs. Well, 2 of their runners got picked off, and 1 runner was thrown out on the base paths. You see bullpen activity for the Mexicans. Fidel Castro, at home on his Barco loungers, got his cell phone. He's text messaging to Mexico City. We have to work on our base running.
The de facto general manager sent the message. Guys received it.
Yeah, the next game we had a runner picked off.
Like the first inning.
In the first inning of the next game. So this game already at a snail's pace. Orlando Marino. Runner goes, and he is out from here to kingdom come. On a 3-0 pitch. Fidel's not going to be happy with that one.
Top of the third inning, 1-0 Cuba. As we were talking about base running, a bad jump. I don't mind guys running 3-0, but that was a horrendous jump, and not sliding makes it even worse.
Top of the order for the Mexicans in the top half of the third inning, Freddie Sandoval, the Angels product. Sandoval with a single to right field in his first at-bat. He's had 2 balls and no strikes.
Charlie, you know what? I don't mind guys running 3-0 because how many times does a pitcher pick over 3-0? But you have to have a better jump than that. I don't mind taking a chance there. It's still early in the ball game.
Strike. Well, again, that's one of those on 3-0, you're playing with house money. And so you would hope that the batter, if he's got the green light, let him swing away. He doesn't need the interference of a runner running. And then the whole risk-reward theory. You've essentially given away an opportunity as Despaigne was thrown out by a long.
He could have gone first move on the pitcher and have made it. And he waited, I don't know for what.
Waiting for a call later tonight, apparently.
Or a text.
Fly ball, right field, and Mexico has just tied the score at 1. Freddie Sandoval. The Angel prospect has evened the score. Team Mexico, their 10th home run of the tournament.
And it's all been about hitting for Mexico. That's how they've gotten to open the ball games, and that's how they've gotten in ball games.
Now Oscar Robles.
Freddie Sandoval. Oh, let it fly. He just got the best leverage on a hanging slider.
If that ball was wearing a sandwich board, the sandwich board would have read, "Hit me here." Sandoval obliges, and Mexico and the Cubans are tied at 1. Oscar Robles with a home run in the tournament. He'll be playing in the Mexican League this year. Same time with the Dodgers and the Padres, among others, at the major league level.
Problems on the mound continue.
Rain continues to fall. Robles advanced to second base in his first at-bat. Takes outside, it's 2-1. But by bouncing to second base on a hit and run, Sandoval was going. Robles knew he had to make contact. He did. Sandoval would get to second base. Gonzalez nearly doubled him home had it not been for the fast glove work of Alexander Maeda at first base.
What a challenge right now for Luis Rodriguez. Not only is he so unorthodox with that move, but is the conditions not ideal for him as he lands on the way towards the right-hander's batter's box. He just can't find that middle ground. Now we saw him land way over towards the left-hander batter's box.
Count goes full. A leadoff home run for Freddie Sandoval from the Angels organization. AAA all of last year, most of last year.
Minor league player of the year.
Robles on 3-2, throws one to right. That will clear the fence and go out for a home run. Back-to-back home runs. That was a Foro-Sol home run, if ever there was one. High altitude, wasn't hit all that hard, but it was hard enough, and Mexico leads 2-1.
I certainly would like to know the last time that Oscar Robles hit 2 home runs in a span of 4 days. Line drive shot right through the wind and right through the rain.
That pitch hung like laundry. Luis Rodriguez, his night comes to an end. We are just 2+ innings into the game, and Cuba's about to employ their 3rd pitcher, left-hander Yulieski Gonzalez, facing Adrian Gonzalez. Adrian takes a strike. It's 0-1. Gonzalez has been on the screws in practically every swing this week. Robbed of an extra base hit in his first at-bat. So back-to-back home runs by Sandoval and Robles in Mexico, with a 2-1 lead.
Yulieski on the mound is a very impressive young man. At one point, 15 consecutive wins in Cuban baseball. And a very good arm. He'll pitch inside on the left-hander. A sweeping breaking ball. And a very animated individual on the mound.
2007 and 8 season. He went 15-0 with an ERA of 2.28. And he strikes out Gonzalez. Round 2 of the 2009 World Baseball Classic gets underway this Saturday. Day after tomorrow, Dolphin Stadium in Miami. The Netherlands take on Venezuela at 1 o'clock. And later on, the Americans will take on Puerto Rico at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. So that's the first out of the 3rd. And the rain showing no signs of abating. Cantu fly to center field in his first at-bat. Real bounce-back year with the Marlins after struggling the past couple of years, first in Tampa and then in Cincinnati. Extremely strong and quick wrists.
The ability to wait, which is one thing he's shared with me. He's learned more and more by watching big league hitters. Wait on the ball and explode by trusting your hands.
Cantu 6 out of 15 this week.
Something I want to point out, Charlie, with Yulieski Gonzalez on the mound. Also very unorthodox in one thing. If you watch his delivery, his lower body is like a double kick with his right heel. And for young players told out there that things have to be done one way, no, it's whatever works for you. It's a jerk on his right heel. And I was talking to the pitching coach, and he mentioned the fact that at home in Cuba, they have tried to change him. He goes, but for the national team, we want it to stay the same.
It looks like he's about to tap dance as he's following through.
You win 15 in a row, just leave him alone.
You can wear ballet slippers. Oh, unorthodox kick at the very end. Count goes full, 3-2. It rained for a couple of hours just before the game, and then it stopped. And now it has picked up again, and we see the familiar, ever-present Mike Brito. Panama hat behind the plate. Got under. Enriquez needs windshield wipers.
Well, he's going towards the dugout because of those wipers, I guess, Charlie. Look at him.
Michelle being Michelle. Michelle Enriquez.
That's how badly he wants to get off the field.
Right field, Terry Garcia.
All right, let's take it on in. ¿Qué pasó?
2 out, nobody on. Kareem Garcia steps into the batter's box. Like a football crowd tonight. It's getting chilly. Garcia takes outside. Kareem struck out in his first at-bat, and last night in international competition had the best game of his career. 4 for 4, 2 home runs, 4 runs scored, 4 runs batted in. I'm talking to him before the game today. I said, Kareem, look, you ever have a night like that before? He said, oh, yeah.
But you didn't say when.
He said, not like that in international competition.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So some solid numbers throughout the minor leagues.
1-1. Yep. Gonzalez pulls the string, and Garcia's way out in front.
What really distinguishes Gonzalez on the mound is that everything looks the same. It's a late biting slider. That's why Kareem has had a tough time reading it and picking it up.
And that jelly leg kick of his makes life miserable on the hitter. Call, strike 3. So Gonzalez puts out the fire, but the Mexicans take a 2-1 lead. Keep up with all the latest World Baseball Classic news and stats, and visit the official online shop of the World Baseball Classic at www.worldbaseballclassic.com. Here you'll find the largest selection of authentic World Baseball Classic items from all 16 countries, including clubhouse gear, t-shirts, jerseys, and a whole lot more, right from the source. Log on, check it out at www.worldbaseballclassic.com. New pitcher for the Mexicans, Francisco Campos, and so the starter Pablo Ortega goes 2 innings and gives up a run and 2 base hits. And on the first pitch, Campos delivers. It's deep to left, and it's fair, it's gone, and it is a foul ball. Luis Miguel Navas narrowly missing a home run that would have tied the game.
And for Campos, a quick scare. Kareem just unloads and looks at it so close to that fair or foul ball, however you want to call it. And at the last minute, out.
I say Navas, you're right. It's Rolando Mourinho, the catcher. And Mourinho getting his first start. Well, it's a home run that's foul, and there's nothing untoward about that base hit to left field for Mourinho as we begin the 3rd inning.
Well, it certainly makes it a lot easier when the pitcher is up around the letters in your eyes, and for a big man with a great top hand swing. He did shorten his swing, but he didn't lose any aggressiveness.
A leadoff hit for Mourinho. That brings up Luis Navas. Starting at shortstop. Started the game against Australia on Tuesday, but on Sunday it was the veteran Eduardo Perret.
Still nursing a sore shoulder, sore throwing shoulder.
Well, if you've been with us this week, and the runner goes, and a hit and run and a foul ball.
I think there's also, Charlie, part of the strategy in the movement of changing and rotating the rosters for Cuba and the whole baseball federation to get younger, to get faster. That's what we see Mourinho in there behind the plate. We see Navas playing a little bit more. You know, the times of Perez are coming to an end, and the same thing with Pestano. So this is a way of evolving and getting the young players an opportunity.
So Navas making his 2nd start. Again, the outcome of this game, both teams know they're going to San Diego, and neither team's going to have an easy time of it once they get there. The powerful teams from Japan and Korea awaiting. Navas is 28 years old. Barksdale playing umpiring conference with Miguel Olivo. So there have been more home runs hit here this week than in any World Baseball Classic week.
Ojeda is a good receiver. Very good receiver as he tries to get Campos here situated by not moving a lot right now. He's trying to give Campos a better target. Campos really struggled his first outing here in the World Baseball Classic.
Runner goes. Diving play by Robles. Saves the day. Out at first.
Anytime the infield is playing fast, you're hoping that the toughest plays are to your glove side. And that's exactly where the ball finds on a nice diving stop by Robles. Picks up his target on a great effort by the runner. But also the hit and run put on by the manager, Velez.
If Robles doesn't make the play, it's 1st and 3rd and nobody out. So Mourinho's at second base. Cespedes steps into the batter's box. Began the game with a triple and scored Cuba's only run to this point. Michel Enriquez on deck.
So far, 2 solid contacts against Campos.
Almost gave up a home run. Mourinho with a line single. And had it not been for the play by Robles. Campos is in significant trouble. Strike. 2 and 3 hitters in the Cuban lineup await. Enriquez and switch hitting powerful Frederick Cepeda. Well, Cuba's not shy about taking their hacks, are they?
That's a hack. Love seeing that, especially again. Talk about elevation. You see pitches closer to your eyes, you're going to take better swings. Especially when those pitches don't have a whole lot of velocity.
Pulls the string. And Cespedes is retired.
Boy, that was a little bit of the Jorge Campillo school of pitching. Fastball up and then finish off. Breaking ball away. Well executed. Totally fooled.
Well, now here's Enriquez, who was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. So the Mexican starter, Pablo Ortega, went 2 innings, a run and 2 hits. And now Campos pitching in the 3rd, trying to get out of mini jams created for himself, and delivers a strike to Enriquez.
Very challenging conditions for the outfielders if you're thinking about throwing the guy out at the plate. First thing is, you know the ball's going to be wet. Drive down.
Again, the off-speed pitch, and it's 0-2.
I mentioned that because most of the time when the ball's wet and you don't think about driving down on the ball, we're going to see an air ball and allow somebody else to take another extra base.
Michel Enriquez was a designated hitter in the first 2 games, and he's at 3rd base tonight. 3 for 8. He's hit a home run. Just outside.
Boy, did the fans want this one.
Olivo framed it about as well as he could. One-two. Base hit. And in to score is Mourinho. Going to second base is Enriquez. Mexico and Cuba are are now tied at 2.
Another pitch out over the plate, a breaking ball. Great extension by Enriquez. And when you're at second base, you have to anticipate. Crack of the bat, you know you're going.
And with 2 out.
Very good throw by Murillo, too.
2 out, runner going all the way. Mourinho runs exceptionally well for a catcher.
So Murillo beats Murillo.
Brings up the switch hitting Frederick Cepeda. Bounced into a double play in his first at bat. It's under it and slices it foul and out of play.
That's a swing we haven't seen, Charlie, in a while from Cepeda. And that's the one we saw the first 2 at bats against South Africa.
Cepeda overall in the WBC 4 out of 8, couple of home runs and a double. Mexico and Cuba are tied at 2. Inside corner for a strike.
Very much a la Greg Maddux, aiming for that front hip on the left-handed hitter. And making sure that hitter gets up on the pitch.
Backdoor slider action. And the 0-2 to Cepeda is on its way. Strike 3. So a shaky start for Campos, but he works his way out. We're tied at 2. Round 2 of the 2009 World Baseball Classic gets underway on Saturday at Dolphin Stadium in Miami. The Netherlands take on Venezuela at 1 o'clock Eastern. Later in the day, the U.S. takes on Puerto Rico at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Tonight's winner plays Japan in San Diego on Sunday. That's at 4 o'clock Eastern time. And the loser gets to meet Korea at 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific time. Remember to look for the game in your region. Check your local listings of World Baseball Classic Baseball. Spoken here. Scott Hairston. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hairston walked in his first at-bat. Mexico had the bases loaded with 1 out in the second inning, but Miguel Ojeda bounced into an inning-ending double play.
Hairston has mammoth power. He can really strike the ball, and we saw last night a long shot about 450 feet over to left center field. This time against a guy like Yulieski Gonzalez. Center on 1 pitcher, 1 location, and unload.
We're tied at 2 in the top of the 4th. Back-to-back home runs from Mexico in the 3rd inning. An unlikely pair, to be sure, hitting home runs. The leadoff hitter Freddie Sandoval and then Oscar Robles. 2 runs and 3 hits for Mexico, 2 runs and 4 for Cuba. The rain continues to fall. Everybody brought a rain slicker tonight. Game time temperature was 63, and it feels like the temperature is dropping every half hour or so. It's now chilly out there. Hasn't cooled off the fans any. Vasquez and Murillo to hit next, the 3-2. Hairston stays alive.
Up around the eyes, and they got him where there's very little protection there. It got Merino, the catcher, the left shoulder. Good job by Lance Barksdale, home plate umpire. That home plate protocol too. He plays well here.
Asking for a new batch of baseballs, or sometimes the catcher takes one in face mask like that. Take a little whisk broom out, and dust off home plate. Umpire gets whacked with a foul tip in the mask. Inevitably, the catcher goes out to talk to the pitcher. And a leadoff walk for Hairston, who has walked in each of his first 2 plate appearances tonight.
Scott Hairston's at-bats have gotten better and better since the first day we saw him on Sunday. And he has just shown better plate discipline. He's fouling off tough pitches, but he's also not expanding so much his strike zone. What a great baseball family.
It began with Sam Hairston, one of the great Negro League players who burst the color barrier with the White Sox in 1951. Played only 4 games with the White Sox, but clearly on a sociological level made his mark. Jorge Vasquez is that. And there has been some discussion over the years as to whether or not it was in fact Sam Hairston or Minnie Minoso who cracked the color barrier, but there are those who say, well, Minoso was of Cuban extraction. Certainly Sam Hairston, the first African-American to play for the White Sox. And then, of course, Jerry Hairston Sr., his son. And Scott and Jerry Hairston Jr., 3rd generation major leaguers.
Their mom, as you mentioned, was born here in Mexico, but even the bigger influence was throughout winter ball. And Jerry playing, coaching, and being so used to being integrated here in the culture, in the Mexican culture, played a big part into them being part of this ball club.
Jorge Vasquez, a fly ball to right center field. Easy play for Alfredo de Spagna. Talking to Scott and Jerry the other day around the batting cage, I said, well, how much Spanish do you speak? And they said, we're learning. It's been a good week.
It's a process.
Well, the baseball fans that have come out to Forest Stadium tonight, not the least bit deterred by the weather.
And for Jerry and Scott, you know, they hear it in the big league clubhouses no matter where they're at, but this is 24/7 on the bus, in the hotel, in the clubhouse, by 30 guys, not 3 or 4.
Augustine Murillo hit by a pitch in his first at-bat. Takes high, 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, I know it's not the greatest surface to be running right now to try to steal a base, but a lefty who is so spread out on the mound, like Yulieski Gonzalez, and he comes back and loads up, picks up that front leg, you have a very good chance of stealing a base if he goes first move. See how spread out he is? He throws about 100 to first base too.
Alexander Mayetta at first base.
And on that for Scott Hairston at first base, it'll be important to see if he does have a step-off move.
In the meantime, Hairston extends his lead, and there he goes. Play, hit and run.
You know, Charlie, we talked briefly last night about how they're going to compete against Japan and Korea. This is what they need to do. And I'm glad to see it already with 3 attempted hit and runs by Vinny Castilla. This is the game they have to beat. This is the game in which they have to get better at.
The Koreans and the Japanese play a much more fundamentally sound game. They play small ball, hit and run, bunt, sacrifice. Whereas the Cubans and in particular the Mexicans really go to ball as hard and as they can and as far as they can.
And the Japanese will get into San Diego with the World Baseball Classic with a 1.08 ERA. You're not going to score a lot. And the Koreans with a 3.66 ERA.
Well, the good news for Mexico is they came into the game with WBC leading .383 batting average, but a 7.43 earned run average. Fly ball right center field. That's going to be very difficult. That's going to be one hop off the wall. Hairston on his way home. There will be no play. Murillo delivers a double, and Mexico reclaims the lead. It's 3-2.
I'll give this one to Vinny Castilla. When you put a hit and run on, you remind a hitter sometimes that staying inside the ball and staying on the ball are so important in order for you to have success. And for Hairston, it's all about cutting those angles.
The relay throw was dropped by Gurriel, the second baseman. And so that made it easy pickings for Hairston to score. And here's yet another meeting at the mound for Team Cuba. Ineski Maya is next on the dance card.
And Charlie, when we talk about hit and run, you know Doug Mankiewicz very well. Now with the Dodgers, and an invited player to spring training. He told me that when he was with the Twins, he would go to his manager, Ron Gardenhire, if he was struggling at the plate and say, please give me more hit and runs. Reason? It made it easy for me to remember to track the ball better.
Mankiewicz has signed a contract with the Dodgers. Whether or not he will be there on opening day, about 3 weeks to figure that one out.
Those are little subtleties in the game that a lot of players wouldn't ask for. I guarantee you, most guys don't want to ask for it.
I'll tell you what, Doug Mankiewicz is a grinder. He's a battler. All inside, 1 ball, no strikes. He played for Joe Torre with the Yankees last year, or actually 2 years ago. He was with the Pirates last year. I mean, he was available. Joe Torre wanted him in Dodger camp in Glendale. Ojeda bounced into a double play in his first at bat. 1 ball and no strikes. Swing and miss. Awkward swing on the off-speed offering. You know, Mankiewicz grew up in Miami, played high school football. He was the tight end, and the quarterback was a fellow named Alex Rodriguez. Here's the 1-1. So Gonzalez is one of these pitchers, when he gets into trouble, he doesn't throw harder, he throws softer.
Smart. Have great teachers back in Cuba. And plenty of experience internationally.
Murillo leads off second base. Cuba will run in, lead it 3-2. Just inside. 2-2. Steady rain continues to fall. We've had nothing but great weather until tonight.
Well, we had to see a little bit of everything, Charlie. We've seen, what haven't we seen here in Mexico City?
Downhill ski. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ojeda. Freddie Sandoval is on deck.
Well, the left field pavilion is pretty steep. You want to go over there?
No, sir. 3-2. Sandoval awaits. The rain continues to fall. Ojeda 2 out of 8 this week in the tournament. Runner goes. And a foul back and out of play. So Murillo on 3-2. Attempting to steal third base.
Trying to get a head start. Why not? They're not paying attention to you. Well, Yulieski Gonzalez on the mound has a better idea with the guy at first, but at second base, it seems like he's so locked in because his front leg is crossing towards the left-handed batter's box. There it is.
Again, the 3-2. Runner stays put. And he's knocked up. In front of the plate. In foul territory and struggling with the wind and the rain, Mourinho makes the catch. And that's the second out.
Well, this requires a lot of concentration. One catcher hitting, the other one fielding it. And this is the second time we've seen a catcher use the glove just to shield the water and then use a basket catch to catch the ball. Hey, whatever works. Let's make the out.
Kind of looks a little bit like Sandy Alomar Jr.
He does, and what a catcher he was. Those teams put together by the Indians with Mike Hargrove and company. Wow.
The 94 Indians had Jim Thome batting 7th and Manny Ramirez hitting 8th.
Somebody reminded Yulieski Gonzalez, let's pay more attention to this guy at second. From his starting point, it's tough because he's almost so torqued already, Charlie.
Mexico looking to add to its 3-2 lead, but Sandoval with a single and a home run to him. It's outside. Oscar Robles on deck. Back in the 3rd inning. Seems about 4 hours ago. Sandoval and Robles hit back-to-back home runs. Well, we told you at the outset the Cubans take their jolly good time when they play a game. And the irony is that as we go to San Diego on Sunday, Japan and Korea, they're used to playing crisp games.
Quicker, get the ball and go. Keep it rolling.
Here's the 1-1. Inside high. 2 balls and a strike to Freddie Sandoval, who is 4 out of 7 in the WBC.
But he's very consistent with his swing, both sides of the plate. Keeps the bat around the strike zone for a long time.
Yulieski Gonzalez about to throw his 24th pitch of the inning. And here comes the 2-1. Too much English. Throw is not in time. Gonzalez off the bag. That was spinning the wrong way and a difficult play for Maeta.
Inside out swing, the spin, the speed of that turf, and a tough hop. Alertly, great play by Gurriel. But his pitcher, Gonzalez, could not find the bag, and the umpire, Edgar Stevenson for Panama, right on that play.
Shortstop, Oscar Robles.
It was a timing issue.
1st and 3rd and 2 out. Yes, it was an error. There's no question about that. But that is such a difficult play. That's an error with an asterisk.
It's not a routine play.
No.
Just put it that way.
When you have the artificial turf, you have the rain that we talked about in the hydroplane. You had the ball spinning the other way.
That swing, yes.
So it's one of those where you invite the official scorer down to share the moment.
You know, say, can I hit you a ground ball like that over there?
I mean, it's the only call you can make officially as an error. But statistically, it's not quite fair. 2 balls and no strikes to Robles. Oscar with his 2nd home run
of the week. Mexico last night just crushed the Aussies. Wasn't a matter of timely hitting because they had runners on base all the time. But when they had to, they came through in a big way as Mexico punished Australia 16-1. This after Australia had routed Mexico 17-7. The series opener on Sunday. Well, the Cubans really want to get Robles out here because Mexico's best hitter, Adrian Gonzalez, awaits. Taking all the way is the veteran Robles, and it's 3-1.
You have a lefty on the mound that really should be more aggressive against Robles. Robles is not going to be able to punish a good pitch like Adrian Gonzalez would. You go after this guy, let him hurt you somehow, but you are in control on the mound.
Oh, a walk to Robles, and Gonzalez will enter the batter's box with the bases loaded. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Yo, Adrian, he's 0 for 2 tonight. Lined into the first baseman's glove. Maeda back in the first inning. And Maeda made a great play with a goaltender's stab. It robbed Gonzalez of a hit, and it cost the Mexicans a run. But now here are the bases loaded for Adrian Gonzalez. About it the other night. Is there a better all-around left-handed hitter in the National League than this guy? He was loaded for bear.
Well, there's a chance for Mexico to open this game up and to really give Cuba more to think about and put him behind us right now. Great opportunity, but for Cuba, they think they have the right guy on the mound.
And Mexico, they've got the right guy at the plate. Adrian is entering his 6th year in the big leagues. Originally drafted by the Marlins, on to the Rangers, and now with the Padres in the 0-1 with the bases loaded. It's now 0-2.
Good swing. Same swing, nice and fluid, loads up very well. Just got under it a little bit. That's just smooth.
Murillo, Sandoval, and Robles are runners at third, second, and first. Gonzalez against Gonzalez. And Yulevsky beats Adrian. Mexico scores a run, but leaves 3. 3-2 after 3.5.
Mexico moving on to the bottom of the 4th inning in a tough situation. Yulevsky Gonzalez popped up against Adrian. That could change the momentum here for Cuba.
The crew chief, Ted Barrett, the bigger of the 2 men in blue, home plate umpire Lance Barksdale, now going over to WBC
DH.
official,
Giovanni Peraza.
presumably to talk about weather conditions.
It's been tough from the get-go. There's no batting practice on the field. The tarp was on. Both teams hit inside in the cages.
Now Barrett has gone into the Mexican dugout.
That's one thing, Charlie, we have seen throughout this whole tournament. Barksdale, Gibson, and Barrett have been on the money with their communication skills on every team.
Well, what we have seen now into the 6th game in this first round.
There's Edgar Stevenson.
Well, where's the first base coach? There he comes.
He had the jacket on before for a couple of innings.
Francisco Escardo. Welcome back. We missed you.
Oh, he was cold.
Yasmani Peraza, who came up with a pinch hit home run in the 8th inning night before last to break Australia's heart. Australia, had they won that game, and they were up 4-3 with 2 out in the 8th, would have been advancing to San Diego, and this game tonight would have been an elimination game. Instead, last night, Mexico routed Australia 16-1, and the Aussies have flown home wounded.
Talking to Yasmani Peraza before the game, I was able to say, "Hey, Gordo." He looked at me, he goes, "How'd you know that?" I said, "Do our research, man."
Well, for those of you who don't know what Gordo means, ground ball. Oh, look at the play by Cantu, and he knows who's running at the other end, and still apparently beat the throw, and Vinny Castilla's not so sure about it.
Good play by Cantu going back, and he also understands who's running. Gets set, but gets rid of the ball quickly on the one-hopper. Great execution with his feet by Adrian Gonzalez. There's our boy.
Can't blame Campos. It looks like the throw got him.
Or you're going to interpret what Gordo means.
No, you are. Your language, not
Fat
mine.
boy.
Fat boy. Fat boy Slim beat the throw. Let's take a look at the replay one more time. You be the judge. He's out. And after that, a 2-run home run by Uriel Doral.
What a target hit by Gurriel.
Well, that call at first base cost the Cubans, or actually the Mexicans, a run.
We were waiting for Gurriel to wake up. His 3rd hit of a tournament. Great extension. He is the most talented player they have. Oh, watch that window.
So Cuba has reclaimed the lead 4-3. A questionable call at first base. And no question about the home run by Gurriel, his 2nd of the WBC tournament. Fred Espana's there.
Charlie. You could have aimed that ball and see it crossing the bat, and you could have thrown it and done that. Not.
Well, interesting to see if any of the paneling of said van was damaged. The psyche of Francisco Campos certainly took a dent. Gurriel with his 3rd home run of the 3rd hit of the week, his 2nd home run. Espana single to center field in his first at-bat has been struck out.
Campos knows there's one thing he can't control and has nothing to do with umpires, but pitching. He'd have to pitch up on Gurriel and now takes care of things, calming down and executing well on this final.
Good news for Campos is he has struck out 3 in an inning in the third. The bad news is he's given up 2 runs. To the right side, Gonzalez makes a nice play. Campos covers.
We talk about footwork around the bag and how smooth with his swing Adrian Gonzalez is, but he doesn't stay behind when it comes down to filling his position. Your job, you make that pitch, ball hit to the right side, make the effort and get there.
Campos sprinting all the way, knowing what his responsibilities were. A nice play by Gonzalez. Now 2 out. Rolando Mourinho. Mourinho, this is his first start of the World Baseball Classic. Pistano has been handling the catching duties for Cuba until tonight. 1-1. Campos pulls the string and it's 1-2.
He's pitching ahead of the count. He's very tough because he has such an assortment of pitches. Straight over the top. He's not going to fool you with his fastball or gain on you by elevating his fastball, but certainly can change your eye level quickly.
Mourinho, who singled in his first at-bat and would score. Foul tip.
Little protection there. Not much.
Well, they don't and can't teach you how to catch a foul tip. It either ends up in your glove or it doesn't.
Ojeda and Campos on the same page. He puts down one sign, location, let's go.
Well, these two fellas above and beyond playing for the same country have known each other for years. They both played here at this stadium, and that's one of the primary reasons why Ojeda is starting behind the plate tonight as opposed to Rod Barajas. Considerable major league experience as well.
See that pass pitch. Ojeda wanted the fastball away. He saw something on the hitter, but Campos shook him off one of the changeup. That's one thing. Catchers are always reading hitters' feet.
Shortstop.
So Mourinho walks, and Vinny Castilla is walking out to the hill. And by the looks of it, Francisco Campos will be walking back to the dugout. And that he is. Cuba with a 4-3 lead, 2 out in the bottom half of the fourth. Well, the rain is beginning to subside. Cuban fans could care less. Their club is up 4-3. And the third pitcher of the night for Team Mexico, Rafael Diaz, is 38 years of age. Has completed his 20th year of professional baseball. That's all of it in Mexico. He pitched for the Cebu Lions in Japan back in 2000. Diaz pitched an inning in the third. In this WBC and did not allow a run. It's Miguel Navas, the shortstop.
Diaz, in fact, you mentioned his age, but well experienced. He can set hitters up very well, and sharp breaking ball, it really keeps down. Teddy Higuera loves having him on his staff.
Strike.
He's got a nice and easy delivery right over the front leg. And creates a lot of spin by the way he turns his fingers at the very end. As Teddy Higuera, his pitching coach, was explaining to me.
Navas was robbed of a hit by Oscar Robles back in the 3rd inning. Navas getting the start at shortstop. The veteran, Eduardo Perret, started the first 2 games. It's outside. 2-1. Correct myself. Perret started the first game. And Navas has started each of the last 2. Almost 2 hours into the game, and we're still on the bottom of the 4th. The runner goes. 2-1.
This time a straight steal, because Diaz is very, very deliberate. He takes a lot of time, picks up that leg, and really just kind of balances there. So not a bad idea if you have a guy with a timing at home plate, 1-4, 1-5. It doesn't matter. Even your catcher at first base and your number 8 hitter, you send him.
Mourinho is a 37-year-old catcher. Runs very well. Held on by Gonzalez. Slow roll to 3rd. It's going to be a tough play for Cantu with the bare hand. Throws it wide. Nice play by Gonzalez to get off the bag and make the play. Well, you had a swinging roller. That's hard enough. And then you have the artificial turf. That doesn't make it any easier. And you've got the wet turf and then the wet ball. And now it's 1st and 2nd with 2 out.
Regardless, he put me in a perfectly groomed ballpark. This is still a very tough play. The best part about it is how intelligent the first baseman Adrian Gonzalez is on not staying anchored to that bag.
So an infield roller for Navas. 1st and 2nd and 2 out. And Yoenis Cespedes steps into the batter's box. Double and a run scored. He's also struck out. 5 out of 10 in the WBC this week. Takes low and inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Cespedes batted 7th in the first game, 6th in the second game, and tonight Eugenio Velez altered his lineup a bit. Big swing and a miss on a sweeping breaker. Michel Enriquez on deck. Frederick Cepeda to follow. Whacked into left field for a base hit. Mourinho's on his way home. The throw is cut off. And Cuba takes a 5-3 lead on a 2-out RBI single by Yoenis Cespedes.
Fastball ran down the heart of the plate. Good short swing after a long swing his previous at bat when Cespedes struck out. And this time, a wide throw cut up smartly by Cantu.
Vinny Castilla out again. Up that time it's Teddy Higuera. What a great lefty he was, Teddy Higuera.
We were talking about Fernando, but Teddy Higuera was one tough He will knock you down. You get yourself back up. He'll come back inside and then throw you the masterful changeup he had. Great year for the Brewers.
Now Michel Enriquez hit by a pitch, single to left. Cuba with a 5-3 lead. It's high, 1 ball and no strikes. Enriquez is 4 out of 9. And tonight, 1 for 1 and hit by pitch. That's going to be trouble. That's going to right center field. That's 1 hop high off the wall. Navas scores. So does Cespedes. Enriquez stands at second base, and Cuba's beginning to blow it open. Is now 7-3.
Good base running and the base pass, cutting the angles. We've talked about that, how it seems like every time trying to touch a base, they touch the inner corner, as it should be. Why? A lot of practice.
Now Frederick Cepeda, power hitting, switch hitting left fielder. 0 for 2 tonight. He's bounced into a double play and struck out. He's also now the 9th batter of the inning, as Cuba has scored 5. Well, this is going to be one of those games. Whoever wins, whoever loses. Whoever wins, well, we feel pretty good about ourselves going in to the next round. The loser's going to say, it's in the rearview mirror. It starts anew in San Diego on Sunday.
I'll take winning anytime. I'll take momentum. I'll take a good feeling in the clubhouse, on the flight. I'll take that anytime. Not thinking about having to bounce back.
Blackboard is wiped clean after tonight. The winner of tonight's game plays Japan. Cuba lost to Japan in the 2006 World Baseball Classic Finals in San Diego, 10-6.
And watch out for a very hungry and anxious Ichiro Suzuki.
Well, how about that pool in Japan? We have Japan routing Korea 14-2, and then Korea responding with a 1-0 shutout. Swing and a miss.
That rivalry, let me tell you, it's unparalleled.
Well, we were lucky enough to witness a 1-0 game in Anaheim 3 years ago. Japan and Korea. Hard ground ball, look out deep. The artificial turf. Freddie Sandoval is to field it and make the throw and end the inning. But Cuba explodes for 5 in the 4th. Who had a worse night, Barney or the guy driving the van?
Well, Barney was dropped. The van kept driving. He didn't know it was broken.
Minus a window. Yuneski Maya is the new pitcher for the Cubans. They lead it 7-3. We head to the top half of the 5th inning. Yuneski Gonzalez went 2 and gave up 1 run and a couple of hits.
Well, Maya is a guy that the Cuban staff waits big things to happen for. He's got great stuff, good makeup, see tremendous arsenal of pitches which he can control. Fastball, curveball, sweeping slider, very sharp late breaking slider, and the ability to pitch backwards, and that's important that we explain. I mean, he'll throw you breaking balls on fastball counts and vice versa.
Round 2 of the 2009 World Baseball Classic gets underway Saturday from Dolphin Stadium in Miami. The Netherlands, the Cinderella story so far in the World Baseball Classic, taking on Venezuela. That's at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Then the U.S. takes on Puerto Rico at 8 o'clock Eastern time come Saturday night. Jorge Cantu leads off for the Mexicans here in the 5th inning. Cantu 0 for 2, fly to center, and fouled out. Breaking ball high, 1 ball and no strikes. Outside. Again, one of the wonderful things about the World Baseball Classic, the styles of play the various countries play. The Cubans, certainly flamboyant, wide open. The Mexicans, they hit. Pitching has been a real problem for them.
More of a U.S. style, the Mexicans.
Yeah, but their pitching has been awful. It's been awful this year.
ERA coming into today over 7.4.
And it's not going down tonight. They've already given up 7 runs and 9 hits. And then you've got Korea and Japan getting by on pitching and defense.
Which takes me to the Dominican. The team with the best ERA in the World Baseball Classic at 0.31. It's done. Dominican Republic, 28 2/3 innings. 1 earned run.
Well, what did I tell you about defense behind it? Nice play at third base by Michel Enriquez. His throw is high and wide, but Mayette is able to break it down and bring it down. That's the first down in the 5th.
Going to your left in a wet field, make sure you have your feet under you. You see the ball is a little wet. We talk about the big play with his feet by the big man Mayetta. Again, Charlie, he continues to impress by how light he is on his feet.
He's a very solid player. Mayetta has made outstanding defensive plays throughout the week. Hasn't hit much. He's 1 for 8.
Oh, by the way, the Dominican committed 6 errors and batted .221.
Witness may step down. I mean, if you're going to make 6 errors in 3 games, you're not long for this world, and the Dominicans simply are not and were not.
Last game, Ubaldo Jimenez for the Rockies, 10 strikeouts in 4 innings. He established a new record in strikeouts for the World Baseball Classic.
If memory serves, when Japan won the World Baseball Classic in 2006, they didn't make an error. Drill to right as Garcia lost another one. Yes, he has. Kareem Garcia in the last game hit 2 home runs, went 4 for 4 with 4 runs scored and 4 RBIs, and tonight he has lost another one.
I mean, the ball is just sounding beautifully off his bat. After a couple of strikeouts looking. Oh, happy to see a righty on the mound.
Oh, the World Baseball Classic comes to an end. Garcia will rejoin the Giants in Korea. The Lotte Giants. Now Scott Hairston. Already 3 home runs tonight for the Mexicans. That's 12 for them.
There have been 26 home runs hit here this week.
No, not here. Not in Photo Sol.
Have you been somewhere else?
Charlie, I really wanted to see you hit batting practice here. That would have been quite a scene for me. Any chance it might happen here after the game?
You can't hit what you can't see.
No questions asked.
'26 home runs. Well, we figured that will be 27 now. Got under it. Hairston flies to Frederick Cepeda.
I asked Fernando Valenzuela, who is a great golfer, as you would know, about playing golf in Mexico City. He goes, "Oh, Paul Green can hold me." He said he loves to drive the ball here on the golf course in Mexico City.
26 home runs have been hit in 5.5 games. Alexis Gulacia is now warming in the Cuban bullpen. Strike. But you know, in these short tournaments, whether it's a short tournament such as the World Baseball Classic, double elimination until they get to Los Angeles in a single elimination. Inevitably, it's pitching and defense, which is why Japan and Korea have been so good for so long. The American pitching staff is considerably better. Wait till the Japanese and the Koreans get a look at Aroldis Chapman, who we saw a couple of nights ago. 21 years of age, stands about 6'2", 6'3". Got a couple of pipe cleaner legs, and he can fire a fastball at 102 miles an hour and snap off a breaking ball at 77. He was downright lethal the other night.
And a plus for Chapman going into San Diego, and that is the fact that he's going to have more pitches to work with.
85 in the second round. In the first round, starters were allowed to go as far as 70. In the second round, after 4 days of rest, 85 pitches. In the final round, a starter can go as much as 100 pitches. And of course, they're trying to protect the valuable shoulders and elbows of major league and professional pitchers so early in the year. Jorge Vasquez 2-2. He's walked and flied to right. Cuba leads it 7-4. Fouls it back.
Not able to read the spin, but enough to get the bat started. And the bat found the ball. Stay alive any way you can.
Vasquez hit that grand slam in the first game against Australia back on Sunday. Just outside. 3-2.
For Maya, with his good stuff and great potential that he has and a lot of experience, success, controlling the emotions is the key. Seemed a little flustered there by that call he did not get from Lance Barksdale.
Well, that's one unique trait about this Cuban team. They're not afraid to show their emotions, for better or worse. A long foul ball. Vasquez, a career Mexican leaguer. He's a designated hitter tonight. He and Uribe Durazo were employed by the Mexicans for that role, but Durazo broke his wrist, hit by a pitch a couple of days ago. Peraza no longer a major leaguer. And Alfredo Amezaga sprained a knee. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. He has returned to the Marlins camp. The 3-2 again. Swung on a miss, strike 3. Maya took something off a 79-mile-an-hour pitch, and that is that. But Kareem Garcia's third home run in 2 nights. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the World Baseball Classic Incorporated. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Charlie Steiner, Jose Mota, as we begin now the bottom half of the 5th. There's 1 ball and no strikes. The home run hitting hero that knocked Australia out effectively. Is Vandy Peraza with a leadoff hit here in the 5th inning.
Second base, Yulieski Gurriel.
Rafael Diaz. His second inning of relief. 7 runs and 10 hits for Cuba. 4 runs, 5 hits for Mexico. 39-year-old veteran of the Mexican League, Rafael Diaz. Well, it's still raining, but not nearly as hard as it had been the first couple of innings here tonight. Foul off to the right. Uriel Gurriel has bounced to short and hit a 2-run home run. Gurriel is a wonderfully gifted player who has been very quiet until the 2-run shot that he hit in the 4th. Popped it up. Easy play for Freddie Sandoval. That's the first out of the 5th.
And Yulieski Gurriel's father, Lourdes Gurriel, is a hitting coach and a mega star in Cuba. And Lourdes Gurriel, very animated individual, was telling me, Charlie, that one of the things he's had to tell his players is, remember, the strike zone with the American umpires is smaller. He goes, back in Cuba, we don't have as good umpires, so I don't want my guys to be over anxious. And they came into this game with 10 walks already received.
Alfredo Desmania takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
So those 10 walks are a product of them listening to what I'm talking about to be more selective than they would be playing in Cuba.
Desmania, 1 out of 2. Big swing, he fouls it back. Bullpen activity for the Mexicans. Francisco Rodriguez, who the Mexicans think has a chance to be really, really good.
They call him the Mexican K-Rod.
Well, besides similarity in name, what else?
Stuff. I mean, both Fernando Valenzuela and his pitching coach Teddy Higuera rave about his fastball, mid-90s, sharp breaking slider, breaks late. Certainly a guy that in all the pitchers that are asked about in this roster about potential and future big league career, he's the guy they talked about. The Angels organization.
Second out of the inning, and that is the first strikeout for Rafael Diaz.
Pitching backwards, got him looking for the slider away, diving over the plate a bit, and got him with a fastball inside.
Alexander Maeta steps into the batter's box, 0 for 2 tonight, 1 for 8. in this World Baseball Classic so far. Ball upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Outside and high. Alexander Maeda, now 32 years old, at 365 this past season. For the Industriales. The Industriales are basically the Yankees of Cuba.
Yes, they are. Revered all throughout the island because they've won for so many years.
At 365 with a 477 on base percentage, so to see him struggling at the plate here has been a bit of a surprise. This one to second base, and Sandoval is there, and a good inning for Diaz and the Mexicans. 7-4. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Round 2 of the 2009 World Baseball Classic gets underway on Saturday at Dolphin Stadium in Miami. The Netherlands take on Venezuela at 1 o'clock Eastern, and later in the day at 8 o'clock Eastern, the U.S. and Puerto Rico. Tonight's winner will play Japan in San Diego Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, game 1, round 2. The loser tonight will meet Korea later on Sunday at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific. Remember to look for the game in your region. Check your local listings. The World Baseball Classic. Baseball spoken here. Agustin Murillo leads off for the Mexicans in the top half of the 6th. The Cubans have made a replacement over at first base, Leslie Anderson. I was mentioning that my head has been struggling offensively. Again, this is one of those games where, yes, it's nice to win, but it ain't so bad to lose either. And so now it looks like Enio Velez is going to get some of his players a little more activity. Murillo tonight hit by a pitch and is double. Breaking ball.
As you talk about Murillo, you know what I like that Vinny Castilla has done? He has this big league power of pulling guys in, to his roster. But if you see 6 to 10 players that are mostly players that will play in the Mexican League or overseas, it's admirable the way he has balanced his roster.
Miss.
I'm talking about guys like Vasquez, Oscar Robles, Ricardo Rincon, Miguel Ojeda, Murillo, Kareem, Durazo, Cortez, Campos, Campillo. That's great.
The 3 pitchers tonight that have been used by Mexico. Ortega the starter, Campos, Diaz.
So for Vinny, talking to him, he goes, I have to listen a lot to people that have managed in tournaments like this, short tournaments. Also, what type of players I needed. He goes, and it wasn't always the big league player that's going to make my ball club better. Because then I was going to have problems also with playing time for those big leaguers.
Here's the 2-2. Fly ball, left field. It's going to stay in the yard for Frederick Cepeda.
I think Vinny has made a lot of friends just by the way his professionalism and the ways he's handled the press. He calls himself, he goes, I'm not Joe Torre or Bobby Cox, but there's some things I've learned from those guys by watching or by playing for them that I'll never leave behind.
Well, Vinny's still a puppy in the managerial world.
Surround yourself with good people, delegate, but ultimately it's going to fall or go on you.
It's a great major league career, and most of his numbers were in Colorado, where you have a lot of terrific numbers, great stats that come out of the Mile High City. We're in Mexico City, it's almost a 2-mile high city.
You know what he commands right away? Respect. And all the players say the same thing. He's very consistent.
Yudieski Maya with 1 out. Well, that got Ojeda's attention. third baseman, Michelle Enriquez, will go out and settle down as pitcher.
Oh, Hader's seen a couple of these pitches buzzing by his ear during this tournament. So, you know, it doesn't matter the situation. You know, at some point you start taking it personal. Best thing he does in that situation, so many young players watching, or dads or coaches, turn your head.
A couple of right-handers warming in the Cuban bullpen now. Miguel Lajera and Alexis Lacia. Ojeda tonight is 0 for 2. He's 2 for 9 in the tournament. Fouls it off to the right in the play.
Kind of swing you want to see after somebody brushes you back. I like that. Make sure you can cover the outer half.
Amazing things about guys who can play at this level, major league level. You get buzzed by a 92, 93, 94 mile an hour under your chin, and then you step right back in and thank you, sir, may I have another.
It's not a physical skill, it's a mental skill. Toughness.
Some guys who have been hit in the head, for instance, some of them just simply are unable to bounce back. There is a fear factor to this game that is one of those things that it's not discussed, I think, enough.
And it's palpable because it's real. I mean, everybody at some point is afraid of the ball.
Especially coming at you 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. The 1-2 to Ojeda is outside.
You know, with that one-point turn that's not brought up enough is you throw it at 95. The guy makes contact and it comes back to your head at 105, 110.
Same thing with pitchers who are sometimes not quite the same after having been hit. I mean, in San Diego, Chris Young, outstanding 6'9" Princeton-educated right-hander, took one back and tipped.
That was from the bat of Albert Pujols. So Bryce Flory go down a few years back in Boston.
I think the one that everybody remembers, and you weren't even born yet, though, was Herb Score. When Herb Score came up with the Cleveland Indians, he could throw the ball about as close to 100 miles an hour as a pitcher could in 1956 and 1957. Gil McDougall, a right-handed batter for the Yankees, who was the shortstop that predated Tony Kubat, hit a comeback. And it ended Herb Score's career before it ever began. Herbie went on to become the longtime radio voice of the Cleveland Indians and passed away in the past year. So Oliva goes down. There's 2 out.
Talk about infielders and taking bad hops off your face. The one habit that you see young player develop after getting hit in the face of being scared or turning his head is not a good habit. At some point, everybody who's taken a ground ball has gotten hit in the face. Some worse than others.
Yeah. Two out, nobody on, and Freddie Sandoval, 2 out of 3, got a board on an error. Has also hit a home run tonight. The Angel prodigy takes a ball low, and it's 1-1. Fourth pitcher of the night for Cuba, Yuneski Maya, with 2 out of the top of the 6th. Freddie Sandoval, not necessarily known for prodigious wallops, but in the 3rd inning he got it.
You give yourself a good chance of making solid contact with many pitches when you can keep the bat flat through the strike zone. The best I ever saw, Edgar Martinez.
One of the most popular players in the history of the Mariners franchise. Of course, King Griffey Jr. has returned to Seattle. I suspect he's probably still the all-time favorite up there. But Edgar's probably number 2.
Incredible hitter. Making the most out of a situation where you were labeled as a non-defensive player. Great career.
A genuinely decent human being. 3 and 2 and 2 out in the top half of the 6th.
Something goes with Tony Gwynn. Talking about keeping the bat in the strike zone for a long time. I had a chance to play with Tony briefly in the big leagues in 1991. And he's just a magic man. And he worked. Just like Edgar, these guys put in their time.
Tony was one of the early proponents of watching video. And a ball to Freddie Sandoval. He had his own little DVD player, and he would. And this is long before there were DVDs.
Back in '91, he traveled with a little 13-inch TV, combination TV and VCR. He'd have that thing on him in the plane. What he always made sure was that he got the closed circuit feed to the clubhouse to record his at-bats.
Now these days, there's so many players who go running back to the clubhouse after an at-bat. Sometimes I think you can overdo it.
Certainly. Nowadays, Charlie, you have your at-bats on your iPod. Or your innings, or your pitch execution.
Pitchers, the same thing. How they approach various hitters. Take a look at their mechanics. Oscar Robles has homered and walked and bounced out tonight. 7 runs and 10 hits for Cuba. Mexico 4 runs and 5 bases. Greg Maddux is another one just his Hall of Fame career. He spent a lot of time not only looking at his mechanics, but how did he face a given hitter in a given situation. Fouled off to the left and out of play.
Then you have the other guys that write everything down. I go to Carlos Delgado. Kurt Schilling is an expert writing thoughts. How did I get this guy out? How did I feel in this situation in the 4th inning? How can I change it later? And just study. There's no accident, no coincidence as to why these guys are so successful or have been. But you bring up a good point. There's also paralysis by analysis. You analyze so much, it could be done too.
And sometimes managers will say, why are you going back to the clubhouse with the runner going? The base is stolen by Sandoval, and there's 2 out. And a runner at second base.
Little delayed on the throw by the catcher Medina to second base. Not the easiest track to run on, but Sandoval very active on the base paths here today. Little late coverage by the middle infielder Navas.
2 and 2 to Robles with Adrian Gonzalez on deck. Managers will tell a player, stop with the video. Why don't you stay on the bench and cheer on your teammates instead of going back and having a ham sandwich and looking at your video? But you're right, that paralysis by analysis. The 2-2 inside 3 and 2. If Robles gets the board, Adrian Gonzalez is on deck. And he would represent the tying run. There's Adrian. Oscar Robles will spend this year playing in Mexico.
Well, how about this? Timeout called by the Cubans. to realign their defensive position. That's something you see very often.
Robles into right field, coming on to make the catch is Alfredo Despena, and that ends the inning. No runs, a hit, a walk, and a man left. Cuba leads by 3. As we head to the home half of the 6th, Cuba 7 runs, 10 hits, and an error. Mexico 4 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters will bat for Cuba in the bottom half of the 6th, beginning with Rolando Marino, Luis Miguel Neves, and Yoenis Cespedes. Strike, and it's 0-1. Marino has singled to left and walked and scored 2 tonight. A 5-run 4th inning for Cuba. Difference in the ballgame. Veteran catcher for the Cubans, Ariel Pastano, sitting this one out tonight.
Probably happy that he's sitting this one down tonight.
Well, he will be sitting in the rain. And again, both managers are playing this game essentially with house money because, yes, it's better to win than to lose. But it really doesn't matter because they're going into San Diego. 2 legitimate favorites to win the whole ball of wax. The defending champion Japanese and the defending Olympic champion Koreans away from them. So have we gotten to this point? 1 out, bottom of the 6th. This way. Mentioned that big 5-run 4th inning, and Uriel Gurriel finally bursts out of his slump. Michel Enriquez has had a very solid day. They're third baseman, and Mexico certainly had their chances to score, but have come up empty with the bases loaded a couple of times as Luis Miguel Neves takes a ball upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Now the rain's beginning to pick up again.
The way this game changed was a strikeout to Adrian Gonzalez by Ulieski Gonzalez with the bases loaded in the 4th inning.
Mexico would score 1, but they were poised to score more, unable to do so, and Cuba would respond with 5 runs of their own in the home half of the 4th inning. We were told right around game time we'd see some passing showers, but for the most part it's been a steady rain all night and a chilly evening to be sure. And yet there's a huge crowd here. All sitting in their rain slickers and enjoying themselves.
And the word I heard around the stadium today and outside the stadium was this is send-off to them. This is send-off to our heroes. Wish them good luck in San Diego.
Go around. No, his first base umpire, Edgar Estevizan.
Stevenson not very popular right now among Mexican fans.
Well, it looked like he missed a call.
He got this
back
one
in
right.
the 4th inning. Yeah. In the 4th inning, post play at first base, it looked like Peraza was out. Peraza was called safe. The next batter, Uriel Gurriel, hit a 2-run home run. It is low. Looks like a football crowd, American football crowd.
Center field.
Cold and rainy. A few umbrellas here and there, but mostly colorful rain slickers. Now, Vinny Castilla talking with Rafael Diaz, and that's the end of the night for Diaz. The veteran David Cortez will be next. The rain continues to fall. The temperature continues to plummet. And David Cortez becomes the 4th Mexican pitcher of the night. Certainly struggled in his one and only outing for the Mexicans. And that was in the first game, when Australia pounded out 17 runs and 22 hits. Cortez lasted a third of an inning, 3 runs and 4 hits, a walk and a strikeout. And the first batter he faces, Yoenis Cespedes, with a fly ball to center field.
Little trouble out there for Scott Hairston. Great concentration, and also we have mentioned here throughout this week how when the ball clears the roof here in Forosol Stadium, there's trouble picking it up because the light towers are very low.
Well, here's something else to consider as we watch Hairston make the catch. Here, this is artificial turf. The rain is falling, getting heavier, certainly making the surface that much more slippery. You have to begin to think about the health of the players out here, not only as the World Baseball Classic continues, but as we round the turn and head for home toward the regular Major League season. Outside play.
Always a concern, for many reasons. You know, for many, as you would know, and not for the Cubans, but this is just the beginning of getting back in shape.
Sure.
Nobody in spring training right now is playing 9 innings. No player is playing 9 innings.
Well, the first couple of weeks they'll get 2 or 3 at-bats and then stretch it out to maybe 6 innings where they might get a 3rd or 4th at-bat. And then the last week or 2. Michel Enriquez on 2-1 takes high and inside.
As you mentioned, injuries. Amezaga, we already talked about, he's out back in Florida with the Marlins, knee problem. Euribiel Durazo, also from Mexico, broken wrist. In conditions like this, will create more opportunities, risk of injury.
You want to give the fans their money's worth, but you don't want to do damage to the players out there. Enriquez bounces harmlessly to short. We'll head to the 7th. Through 6 innings of play, Cuba 7, 10, and 1. Mexico 4 runs and 5 base hits. Back-to-back home runs for Freddie Sandoval and Oscar Robles in the 3rd inning. And tonight, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Well, Gonzalez and Cantu 0 for 6. Garcia hit his 3rd home run in 2 nights. New pitcher for the Cubans is Miguel Lajera. Lajera with an ERA of 2 3/4 this past season in Mexico. Yuneski Maya went 2 innings, gave up 1 run, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts.
And Lajera is a guy that they really hope that he can step up and be a more important part of their rotation or the relief corps. Still battling some command issues. Got a very live arm, straight over the top. Great pitcher's body.
Just turned 24.
And there's our friend Ariel.
The catcher. The new catcher is the old catcher, the veteran.
Ariel Pestano.
I mean, he's one of those fellas. He'll talk to anybody or anything. If there's a tree and there's nobody around, he'll talk to the tree. Gonzalez swings and misses.
And one reason why we've learned Cuba plays a lot of long games is because Pestano makes a lot of trips to the mound. He talks to his pitchers.
Are you telling me this game's going to get longer now?
It could get longer.
He is a character.
He's good for that team. Let me put it that way.
A leadoff walk for Gonzalez in the 7th inning. Leonis Martin, the new center fielder. He has replaced Yoenis Cespedes. We're in the top half of the 7th inning. Jorge Cantu. Cantu is 0 for 3 tonight. Cantu had 29 of those 74 home runs last year in his first season with the Marlins. Came up with the then Devil Rays.
Well, there's a huge at-bat for Cantu with a man at first base and try to bring this crowd back into this ball game in tough conditions.
Oh, and another meeting at the mound.
Yeah, look who says the first words. That's Pestano. He initiates everything. Well, a lot of these young Cuban players is to expose them to this type of competition and beyond them. I mean, there's a lot of tough love in that clubhouse and the way they prepare their players. And the enforcer.
Well, right now it is really coming down. The last thing in the world baseball wants to do here, A, is to sit through a rain delay, or B, call the game prematurely because it affects the seedings in San Diego. But the reality is we've got Cuba and Japan, so there's not a weak sister awaiting. And so the top seed, first or second seed, I wonder if that's more important than the weather conditions and, more importantly, the field conditions.
I'm surprised that I haven't seen more pitchers actually slip as they land.
Again, and outfielders on this artificial turf.
Love the way Cantu's going after this at bat.
Crew Chief Ted Barrett, it's his call, but of course there are officials from the World Baseball Classic, essentially Major League Baseball, with whom he would be in concert in making any decision. Drilled, but I believe that's going to be foul, and it is. Well, you see, it's getting muddy out there. And it's tough enough on the dirt. I think there's a greater concern, especially for the outfielders. Running after balls. Bat shatters. And the shortstop, Neves. One out.
Well, that's the potential they like about Laera and what he brings to the mound. Up to that point, a very good at bat by Cantu, but he got beat by a pitch that really fooled him. That's why he broke his bat. Good contrast between pitches there by the righty.
Well, the maple bat controversy is international.
We didn't see one break for the first 2 games, and then they started flying.
Well, Kareem Garcia has had quite a game and a half last night. 4 for 4, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 4 runs scored, 2 home runs, and tonight he's 1 for 3 and a home run. Miguel O'Hara, 6'3" and 205 pounds. To center field. That's going to stay in the yard as the wind is blowing in, and the rain seems to be hanging it up too.
Boy, if there's a guy that you wanted to keep the ball away from, it is Kareem Garcia. Anytime you miss that wheelhouse down and in, he is just dropping that barrel. Very challenging right now for the infielders. Look around Yulieski Gurriel and how the water's building and so many puddles all around. And the one thing you have to be careful with is the first step.
Gurriel. See that mud. Scott Hairston has walked twice, scored a run, and flied to left. Takes upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes.
One time G. Mock was explaining to me, in this case, when it's like this and you're on the field, forget defensive alignment. Find a dry spot so your first step is solid.
Gene Mock.
Oh.
Brilliant minds of baseball.
Playing for Bob Boone and having G. Mock and on the bench in a brief time with Kansas City in '95 is one of the best times I ever had as a player.
He was such a great baseball mind, and unfortunately, part of his resume was the collapse of the '64 Phillies. But that doesn't even begin to counterbalance the way he went about managing a game.
As they explained to me, and I asked him, and he proved me. He could tell you what happened on the ball game, how the game developed by looking at a box score. It was incredible.
Hairston takes high and inside. And it's now 3 balls and no strikes.
There's some tough love again by Pestano with his pitcher. And the things that are being said are not just, you know, get your arm over the top or make sure you're on top of it. No, it's a little more personal. To test your patience.
Three and 0 to Hairston with Vasquez on deck. A 4-pitch walk to Hairston, who has walked 3 times tonight. Second walk given up by LaHare. There's 2 on and 2 out. 7 walks given up by Cuban pitching tonight. And it looks like we're going to get ourselves another new pitcher. Indeed we are. 7-4, 2 out, 7th inning. Alexis Ulacia is the new pitcher for Cuba, and he is facing the powerful Jorge Vasquez, who has walked and struck out. Ulacia is 31 years of age. 5-5 this past year with an ERA of 3.25. Via Clara.
Side armor, he's around the plate a lot, much more than Luis Rodriguez, who struggled with his side armor here today. One thing that Ulacia does when he lands way wide with his right foot. Reason? Balance.
Well, I hope wherever you're watching tonight, you are warmer and drier than these fellas. And it's amazing how many fans remain in the stands here. A couple of walks here in the 7th inning from Miguel Lajera. Now Alacia. Look at the bat fly.
It was pretty warm here Sunday. Remember that? About 81, 82. But it seems like the cooler it's gotten, the more bats are breaking. Look at this one flying. Off the label. Shattered.
Someday somebody's going to get really hurt by one of those. And not necessarily on the field. Fans have to be aware. Well, what's a little rain? Oh, and a souvenir. Bueno.
Your drinks and a baseball and a game. What else do you need? Stay around.
Brother. Ball strike 3, and that ends the inning. No runs, no hits, 2 walks, 2 left, 7th inning stretch, 7-4 Cuba. As the groundskeepers continue to try to keep the field as playable as possible, a look at what Cuba has done offensively tonight, pounding out 10 base hits. Cespedes, Enriquez, and Peraza with a couple of hits apiece. The home run for Gurriel. A 7-4 Mexico lead. We head now to the bottom half of the 7th inning.
And from the first game, Charlie, what we saw starting with Cepeda, and the spine is the long ball again tonight to break it open.
3 home runs hit by Mexico, 1 by Cuba. So 26 home runs have been hit here this week. What's a little rain? Not going to dampen the spirits of these Cuban fans. Well, they brought their shower caps, for goodness sake.
They're ready to go. A lot of Cubans here in Mexico City and all over the territory. That's why one reason why they came and worked out for 2 weeks before their World Baseball Classic. Play some exhibition games, and on their arrival to Mexico City, the whole staff just said, we feel like we're at home. Even playing against Mexican teams during the exhibitions, it felt like we were playing in Havana and beyond.
Well, the Mexican fans trying to cheer the home team on. With all that dust coming up from the drying agent, essentially it's glorified kitty litter. It looks like a Siegfried and Roy show, for goodness sake.
Where's the magic act?
Keeping this game going.
Where are the animals?
Again, the teams will be flying, both of them, Mexico and Cuba, to San Diego tomorrow. And Jose and I will rejoin you on Sunday. And if the score holds up as is, Cuba will play Japan and Mexico will play Korea. And here's the veteran Dennis Reyes, who signed himself a free agent contract this offseason, 2-year deal with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Dennis Reyes was out there like many other free agents for a long time. But he told me I was waiting for the right deal to come. And thankfully, he says, thank God it did come. So he'll get to pitch for Tony La Russa
for 2 years.
That didn't happen very often either.
Well, a couple more lefty specialists that are out there. Will Oman and Joe Beimel still looking for work.
You mentioned Beimel with the numbers he put up for the Dodgers last year, like a 2.02 ERA, something like that.
But you know, what happens oftentimes with the so-called lefty specialist, the ERA is not necessarily indicative, because they may come in for one batter and he may give up the run and somebody else's ERA is affected by it. Beimel had a couple of very good years with the Dodgers, but last year he wasn't the pitcher that his numbers would suggest. Frederick Cepeda leads off with a single into center field, and so he's still out there.
And you were there and saw it every game.
Joe Torre used him differently than Grady Little had. Grady would start Beimel in an inning. Joe used him more as a so-called lefty specialist, and he wasn't quite so special. And so Beimel's still out there. Year before, I mean, he was just lights out. Now here's the home run hitting hero from night before last. Giovanni Peralta.
You just don't buy into the theory 100% on the lefty-lefty.
Foul.
There are some lefties out there that righties don't want to see. But sometimes managers don't bring him in because the percentages don't play correctly.
Yet sometimes, I mean, a guy like Mike Myers, for instance, had such a sidewinding left-handed delivery. He stayed in the big leagues, what, almost a dozen years, because it was nearly impossible for a left-hander to pick up the release point, and he would seemingly release the pitch about halfway to first base. You're standing in the box awaiting that. Thanks, but no thanks. And Reyes is another one of these so-called lefty specialists. Up the middle, a base hit. But a couple of right-handed hitters having no problem with Reyes here in the bottom of the seventh.
Here's what Gurriel, the father, Lourdes, wanted. A little more intensity later in the game as Mexico continues to have problems on the mound, and the hits continue to pile up. Now 12 for Cuba.
Mexican pitching has given up 29, 35, 47 hits. And now not quite 4 games. Grounded foul. Speaking of Gurriel, here's his son, Uriel Gurriel, who the Cubans feel is probably their best all-around player, isn't he?
Talent-wise, he is the best they have.
Makes no bones about the fact that his two idols are the left side of the Yankee infield when they're both there, Jeter and A-Rod.
Boy, the minute you mention Alex Rodriguez to Ulysses Gurriel, his eyes just light up. Huh? He goes, we don't miss that many games in Cuba. We're always watching, especially, he goes, when the Yankees are on and A-Rod's on and Derek is on, forget it.
Nothing in 2 to Gurriel with España on deck. Reyes delivers over the head of everybody. Dennis Reyes has dug himself quite a hole. Wild pitch. Well, if it's going to be a wild pitch, get your money's worth.
Fastball got away.
Wild pitch.
You know you're a big shot when you've got your own name on your own shin guard.
Japanese company made that for him.
Infield halfway for Gurriel, and he drills a double into the left field corner. Cepeda will score, Peralta will score, and Gurriel takes a big turn and holds at second base. It's 9-4.
There's a reason why he is the star of this ball club along with Cepeda, but Gurriel is a young star and just non-stop potential. Look at the quickness inside. in throwing the barrel and keeping that ball fair. That's ability.
Hitter now is Leonis Martin. Martin has been primarily a defensive replacement late in games, and he takes a ball under the knees. At least he has been here in the World Baseball Classic.
You know, he's one of the best stories back home in Cuba because he flirted with hitting 400, leading all the way up to the Olympics. A tremendous tools player. Finished at .399 one season. For Villa Clara. It's a 90-game season.
Of course, you can play ball down in Cuba just with the weather being what it is all year round, and they do.
Well, I don't think they don't see this a lot. I mean, you're in the Caribbean. You see a lot of storms come in and out. It's not going to be as cold as it is tonight, but they're used to playing in this.
Well, it's a little rain. Martin gets hit. Boy, Dennis Reyes has nothing. Not tonight. Right between the 2 and the 6.
Not much you can do to get out of the way of that one. Lefty, lefty, when you can't pick up the ball that well. Oh, man.
Well, he threw one over the head of his catcher. Threw one in the middle of the back of Leonis Martin. And when he hasn't done that, he's given up 2 singles and a double and 2 runs. Teddy Higuera goes out to settle him down. And Leonis Martin has a welt on his back for his efforts.
How about that? Sit on the bench for 5 or 6 innings, 1 at bat. Healthy.
Juan Carlos Pedroso is now pinch hitting for Leslie Anderson. I'm not sure what the World Baseball Classic record is for the time of a 9-inning regulation game, but we must be flirting with it. Boy, Reyes off kilter. Second wild pitch, and the second time it's gone over the head of everybody.
You know, besides the fact that it's a little slippery out there, his release point has been nowhere to be found. And I wonder if he is being a little timid when he lands on that slippery slope.
And the other question is, his hands are no doubt wet. Is he getting a sufficient grip on throwing the ball? And now Pedroso saying, oh, now I have to step into the batter's box and wait here for this? I may get clocked. The way Leonis Martin did the preceding hitter.
And when he wants Reyes, as he delivers the ball home, he taps the ball, which allows to get more water, even for a slight second.
Popped up a million miles in the air. It'll drift out of play. Handed to the Mexican fans. They are sitting out here in the rain, having a great time.
let's not forget about the Mexican fans and perhaps not in very many baseball games they get to sit for a long time under the rain. But soccer is huge in this country.
Baseball trying to make strides here. And of course, that's one of the reasons for the World Baseball Classic, to expand baseball's interest around the world. Now the 2-2. Wild pitch produces another run. This is getting really ugly. Gurriel comes in to score. Martin goes to third. It's now 10-4.
Reyes trying something else, maybe finding the inner half of the plate, but he just almost finds Pedrosa's feet. He's missing by a lot with his fastball and his breaking ball. It's concerning.
First three batters with hits. Martin was hit by a pitch. And now Pedrosa, 3 balls and 2 strikes, and the infield in. Way outside. I mean, Reyes has nothing. And Vinny Castilla, talk about the mercy rule, showing some mercy and getting Reyes out of there. He has yet to retire a batter, although his night is coming to an end. Luis Ayala's on his way in. Well, the Cuban fans have plenty to cheer about, and Luis Ayala had nothing and has given up plenty in the veteran Luis Ayala. No runs and 2 hits on Monday night against South Africa. Now facing Ariel Pistano. Came into the game a couple innings ago behind the plate, replacing tonight's starter, Orlando Arino.
Ayala hoping for a ground ball double play here with a slow runner like Pistano. He has the ability to do it with good sink of that fastball and a good slider.
Runners are at first and third. 3 runs are already in. Reyes, no innings of work. 3 hits. 3 runs so far, and responsible for both base runners. Again, talking about Mexico and looking ahead to the next round of the World Baseball Classic. You just can't win anything with an ERA of 7.5, and it's gone up tonight.
Well, this needs to stop for them to have any chance. It's not just going to be about scoring runs. Offensively, execution on the mound, stop the opponent.
Well, they gave up 17 runs to Australia in the first game, and 10 tonight. And of course, they scored 16 last night and beat South Africa 14-3. So they could score some runs. Problem is they can't get the other guys out. Ball and 2 strikes to Pistano. Drill to right field and deep, and that's going to be 3 more on the board. (13-4).
Veteran catcher Pistano does what he does best. Sees a whole field. He knew it. He knows where he's playing. It's gone. Talk about the disparity of guys coming off the bench tonight. One getting plunked, Martin, and Pistano going deep.
So Pistano loses 1. And here's the shortstop, Nevis. Grounds it foul. Dennis Reyes, in his only other appearance in the World Baseball Classic this week, gave up 4 earned runs in an inning and a third. Well, tonight, in no innings of work, he gave up 5 earned runs. By my calculations, he has an earned run average of roughly the zip code of Saturn.
Definitely a lot of things to work on once he gets to camp with the St. Louis Cardinals for Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa.
Well, we were close. His ERA is 40.5. That's the way it's going now for Mexico.
Things that happen when you've been on the field for a long time. A wet field, 13 runs, 14 hits. Get a little flat.
You know, they would never admit it. But I think the Mexicans are kind of hoping that Davis hits a home run here, and that would be the gong rule and would end the game. It's a 9-run disparity. Narrowly missing a double is Davis. In the World Baseball Classic, if you are up by, actually have to be more than that. If you're up by 10 runs after 5, they still have a way to go yet. Here's the 1-2. Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Luis Ayala blew out his elbow in the World Baseball Classic in 2006. Missed the entire year for the Washington Nationals, and Ayala in 2005 had a career year, and frankly hasn't been the same since.
When healthy, he's had success because he has great movement. Stays on top of the ball, drives home well, and tough against righties and lefties. And he must pitch down. And you're right, he hasn't been the same since. Even last year, he was hoping to do more for the New York Mets, and using some late situations was not able to regain that form.
Francisco Rodriguez, the other one. K-Rod, of course, from now with the New York Mets. A lot of players in the World Baseball Classic are essentially auditioning for major league jobs.
Ayala luckily signed a deal with the Minnesota Twins recently.
For instance, Pedro Martinez has pitched well and trying to get some interest out there. Ned Colletti, the general manager of the Dodgers, would say, well, we're curious. But Rodriguez is still looking for work out there. And the 3-2. Swung on to miss, strike 3. Finally, the first out of the 7th inning.
And then, Charlie, there are lesser names of guys that are just hoping to play baseball in the United States, AA or AAA ball.
Try to get noticed.
Well, what a great story, these young men you see on the screen. Alexi Bell was the best hitter for the Cuban team in the Olympics. He had .520. In a 90-game season, he had 31 home runs, 111 RBIs, but everything came to a stop, Charlie, after he got beamed right in the nose. He is not part of the roster right now, but he's one of the players selected by Fidel Castro to go over there and said, on merit, you should be around that ball club. Alexi Bell, 26 years old.
Whacked into left field for a hit.
And Bell actually was beamed in the nose by Maya,
His teammate.
his teammate here. We saw
Gee,
him first.
thanks. Miguel Ojeda exhorting his pitcher. Cuba just beating the tar out of Mexico now, 13-4.
I actually heard Bell tell you in English, my nose, my nose. That's where it got me. Then he got drilled again in the right eye.
Matching set. You see to the immediate left, the guy without the hat on? That is the son of Fidel Castro, clapping his hands. Tony Castro.
Dr. Antonio Castro is an orthopedic surgeon back in Havana. And he says since 2000, when I took part in the Olympics and started traveling, they said I'm the lucky angel, so I'm part of the baseball team now.
And he has an in. His dad being Fidel Castro.
Automatic bid. Not at large.
That's another hit. With the mercy rule being what it is, or as they call it, the early termination rule, which sounds a little dark. Should Frederick Cepeda, switch hitter with great power, hit a home run, that would be a walk-off home run. The game would end.
As we have been explaining, and you've done a marvelous job at detailing how it all works, there's a 10-run rule and a 15-game rule. 15-run rule.
15 runs. Well, let's see. It'll be a 3-run shot. That'd be 16-4. No, we're still a little short.
It's not happening.
The way things are going in this inning, it might. Inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Luis Miguel Neves, the only batter in the inning for Cuba to be retired. Cepeda tonight, 1 for 4, and a strike. And now finally a bunch of the Mexican fans are leaving the joint.
It's getting pretty loud between the Cuban fans on one side and the Mexican fans at the other.
That's drilled to center field. That's away back, away back, away back, and gone. A home run, a 3-run shot. 16-4. And that is your ball game. That would be a walk-off home run. I think both teams are happy about it.
Well, you got me on that one. It did happen.
Well, Frederick Cepeda with his 3rd home run of the tournament, a 3-run shot. Game, set, and match.
He's got some whip in that bat. A big league player in a Cuban uniform right now, Frederick Cepeda. Again, unloaded. Just like he started the tournament going opposite field, well, that's where he finishes here at Mexico City.
So the Cubans leave Mexico, the top seed, and they will be facing Japan on Sunday. Mexico, being thrashed 16-4, will face the Koreans on Sunday. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll put the wraps on this package. Cuba in a cakewalk, 16-4.